Hey, morning. It's Mindset Monday. I'm super excited. It's such a beautiful day today in DC. You can probably see that there's like some serious sun going on behind me. Um, it is such a beautiful way to start the week, and I'm super excited to share with you what I have to share today. It's been on my mind a lot. Um, it's something I've been talking to my coach about. Yeah, I have my own coach. I have a life coach that helps me every single day of my life. Like, not necessarily every single day in a very tangible way, but the what I've been learning has been so helpful for me, and that's why I want to share it with you. Because it might I experience success fairly easily in my career life because I have grown to have an expectation of it. Um, that's not necessarily true in other parts of my life. So what I'm trying to do now is understand what I did in my career life in a new way that I can let it spill over to other areas of my life. So consider this tip to be something that you can use for your career and finding your dream career, but you can also have it work for you in any aspect of your life that you so choose. So there's a big difference between expectation and desire. You can have, like, you can say, I want this job that makes me six figures and has me like leaping out of bed every morning, super excited to go to work, and I feel productive and I feel like I'm making a difference in this world, right? That sounds like an awesome desire. Awesome, right? But the difference is, what if your expectation is that you can't have that? What if you don't believe that that is possible for you? Then your desire is simply like a wish. It's a wish that will, like, like you need a genie in a bottle to help you get. But what your expectation is really what that when that genie says your wish is your command. When you say to yourself that your expectation, you believe that this is coming to you, and you believe it so much that it can feel like you already have it, it shifts the way you interact with the world, because desires are awesome because it's the starting point, right? And desires are great because you are focusing yourself on thinking about what it is that you want. But if you think of it as a pipe dream, then you've already lost. You're going to demotivate yourself by saying, this is what I want, but I don't think I can have it, which means like you're not expecting that it's possible for you. Then you've already lost. So it's an important distinction to make, that your desire is an important thing to have, but your desire is not alone what's going to create your career, right? Obviously, there's going to be some action, but behind that action, if you feel that it's mostly just futile, then it's going to be futile, right? Like, it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's important to look at your world and say, I'm going to choose to expect this thing to happen for me. Whatever that desire is, expect that it happens and be open to the way that it shows up for you. You see, like, I resisted at the beginning of starting my career, my career coaching career, or business, because I didn't know how it was going to happen. And I didn't understand what it was. But I knew that I wanted to create this career coaching business because I could see the impact I could make with it after years of kind of offering myself on a volunteer basis to a bunch of friends and helping them get jobs in like the office of the mayor of the District of Columbia, at Booz Allen Hamilton, and then at McKinsey. And then I began helping people get jobs at like the New York Fed and at Wells Fargo. So I saw what I was capable of doing. Some of that happened while I was coaching already, but some of it also happened before that. And I was able to help people move in such a way that they were getting careers that they really wanted to have. Well, that doesn't mean that I was ready to get paid for that stuff, right? But I knew that I wanted to be able to do that. So at first I thought it was a pipe dream. So I didn't think it was possible to make money doing what I love to do. Not in that way. Like I loved what I was doing already in my career, so I felt like I didn't need anything else anyway. But I didn't think that you could make enough money to survive being a coach. So that's kind of where it started. But, you know, with evidence, I was able to create a mentality where I was like, well, I'm actually seeing other people becoming coaches and making it work for them. So I'm starting to see evidence that like you can live in New York City and be an awesome coach and make good money so that you can survive and you're not eating scraps. And I began thinking, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. And my expectation shifted where my expectation was saying, yeah, I can actually have that now. And it's easier said than done by a long shot. So if you're laughing at this video and you're like, yeah, that's not happening, I hear you. I've been there in other areas of my life and in my coaching business. Like it took me a long time to believe that I can be an entrepreneur because my parents were both entrepreneurs and they are no long like my mom's still technically an entrepreneur but doesn't live on an income that's comfortable at all for her. She lives kind of like paycheck to paycheck essentially. And my dad no longer is an entrepreneur. His business went bankrupt. And it was because he was like, he had a small business and it was, you know, he couldn't compete with the big guys who had chains of what he was doing in his career at that time. So I didn't have a lot of evidence that entrepreneurship works in my family. My experience was that it doesn't work. And I was telling myself that like, I can't become an entrepreneur because it's not stable enough. So when I set that expectation, guess what? Like I found the most stable job possible in the government. I make really good money and it was great. And I wasn't as fulfilled as I could be. And so I began thinking about this story that I made up and these expectations of what it would look like if I was an entrepreneur. And I realized those were holding me back. They were stopping me from even trying, right? So eventually through a couple coaching programs, I was able to see that when I shift my expectation away from I can't do it to yes, I can, and let's see what happens, and then maybe even shift my expectation further to saying I'm going to become a full-time career coach. Those expectations are what led me down this path. So the desire was always there, right? In my example. But the expectation kept shifting. And as it shifted, I moved forward in what my career coaching business was looking like. And the same can go for you. It's up to you to decide whether or not you're going to expect the career of your dreams to show up for you, whatever it looks like. And I know that that can be scary because, you know, in our society, we're often told, don't expect too much, and that, like, you might be disappointed. But, like, there's a way of having an expectation without attachment. So this is the part where this is super, super important. Don't be attached to how it shows up for you. Just trust that it will. And that is also easier said than done. And I totally hear that. I expect to have a $250,000 a year business eventually. It's not there right now, but I have an expectation that that will happen in my life. And that I'll work only 5 hours a day. That's my goal, right? It's not just a desire. I have learned to expect that that is in my journey. And it leaves me with a level of comfort and ease right now because right now I'm not there. And I could be going frenzied being like, how am I going to make that happen? Or I can sit back and say, I'm not attached to how it happens, and I'm going to try out a variety of things, and we'll see what works, and I'm going to trust that I'll know what feels right to me and what's going to work for me. And that's what I invite you to do today. Create an expectation without feeling like you have to put in all this action. Create the expectation and feel into how good it feels to believe in that and what it looks like to have that. And feel it as if you have it today. and see how that shifts your mindset for the day. And I'd love to hear from all of you about it because this is such a powerful, powerful tool for me that I'm learning all over again in other aspects of my life right now. And I invite you to try it because it can shift your whole world. Because then you can expect just about anything and it'll happen. Another really quick example that I'm going to give you is my roommate moved out, and she told me on March, like a little bit before March 1st, that this was going to happen, that she was going to move in with her boyfriend. And when she would like when she was in the process, I asked her to find her replacement because I was traveling a lot in March. And she was really worried about being able to find one in time, whereas I was totally fine. I never worried about it. And I've had some bad roommate experiences in the past, but I didn't even worry about having a bad roommate. I just simply believed that the right person was going to show up. And guess what? I have an awesome new roommate. And I absolutely adore her. She's super sweet. And I think that this is going to work out so wonderfully. Like, we have a lot of similar interests. And here's the thing, maybe it won't, right? Maybe it won't. But when I create that expectation, it puts me at ease in such a way that it feels very different than when I am in an energy of worry. So think about it from the perspective of where you're putting your energy, and if that alone is enough to convince you to try out this new mindset. So I love you guys. I can't wait to see what you create using this great mindset tool. And, send me messages in this group and over email. I'd love to hear back what you're getting out of this. It's going to be awesome. And I can't wait to see what you create. Love you guys. Bye.